When researchers at UC Davis tested 134 samples of the best-selling extra virgin olive oil brands in America, 73% of them failed. They weren't extra virgin, some were rancid, some were oxidized, and one brand, America's #1 seller, failed 94% of the time. But it gets worse. Italian prosecutors have called olive oil fraud more profitable than cocaine. The Calabrian mafia has been caught shipping industrial-grade oil to grocery stores in New York, Boston, and Chicago. And in 2024, olive oil prices hit an all-time record, which means the incentive to cheat has never been higher. In this video, we're going through 13 extra virgin olive oil brands you need to stop buying immediately, with the lawsuits, lab results, and FDA recalls to back it up. And if you stick around until the end, I'll give you the 4 brands that actually passed every test and are worth your money. 13. Meseta. Starting us off at number 13, Meseta. Most people know them for their peppers, but they also sell extra virgin olive oil. And in the UC Davis study, their oil failed to meet extra virgin standards on both sensory and chemical testing. Meseta was also named as a defendant in the 2010 Callahan and Bain class action lawsuit filed in Orange County alongside several other brands on this list. Not the biggest offender here, but when your oil can't pass the most basic quality tests, it doesn't belong in your kitchen. 12. Whole Foods 365. At number 12, the Whole Foods 365 store brand. Now you'd expect Whole Foods to have higher standards, but when UC Davis tested their 365 100% Italian extra virgin olive oil in 2010, it didn't meet extra virgin standards. To their credit, Whole Foods has since improved. The 365 brand now carries NAOOA certification, and Consumer Reports rated it mid-tier in 2024, describing it as bitter and pungent with some fruit. They also switched to dark glass bottles, which is better for preservation. But the 2010 failure and the fact that a premium grocery store got caught selling substandard olive oil earns them a spot on this list. 11. Goya number 11. Goya. Now, Goya wasn't even tested in the UC Davis studies, and they haven't been hit with any lawsuits. So why are they on this list? Because Goya has 0 third-party certifications. No COOC seal, no NAOOA certification, no DOP or IGP designation, nothing. They source from Spain, Greece, and Tunisia as blends, and there's no harvest date on the label. Independent taste evaluations describe the flavor as mild with low complexity, which is a polite way of saying it doesn't taste like real extra virgin. When a household name brand refuses to submit to any independent verification, that tells you something. If they were confident in their quality, they'd prove it. 10. Botticelli number 10, Botticelli. This one got exposed in 2024 when Consumer Reports scored Botticelli just 2 out of 5 in their olive oil quality test. The testers described it as having off flavors, typically tasting slightly fermented and stale. It landed among the 7 lowest scoring oils they tested. And here's the kicker. When Botticelli's parent company responded, they blamed the off taste on products sitting too long on store shelves. That's basically an admission that they can't manage freshness in their own supply chain. No harvest date on the bottle, no NAOOA seal, no third-party certification whatsoever. If the company's own defense is, well, it probably went bad before you bought it, that's not exactly reassuring. 9. Rachael Ray number 9. Rachael Ray. She literally coined the term EVOO and made it part of everyday vocabulary. But here's the irony. The olive oil sold under her name failed UC Davis testing. 2 out of 3 samples didn't meet extra virgin standards on both sensory and chemical analysis. And the brand was named as a defendant in the 2010 class action lawsuit. What most people don't realize is that Rachael Ray's olive oil is actually manufactured by Calavita at their plant in Pomezia, Italy. So it's a Calavita product with a celebrity label and a markup. In October 2016, Olive Oil Times even published an article titled "Misinformation from the Cook Who Coined EVOO," criticizing Rachael Ray for spreading incorrect information about what real extra virgin olive oil actually is. 8. Great Value, Walmart. Number 8, Walmart's Great Value brand. Failed the UC Davis study on the PPP test, which detects oxidation and degradation. But the real problems go beyond one study. Great Value olive oil comes in clear plastic bottles, which is one of the worst things you can do for olive oil because light exposure accelerates rancidity. The labels list 7 or more origin countries. The sourcing changes constantly, and there's no harvest date anywhere on the packaging. At around 29 to 40 cents per fluid ounce, the price alone should raise a red flag. Genuine extra virgin olive oil simply cannot be produced at that price point. And if you go to Walmart's own website and scroll through the reviews, you'll see what customers are saying. Tastes rancid, ruins food, strange cloudy appearance, smells like old grease. Walmart was also named as a retailer defendant in the 2010 olive oil class action. If you're buying olive oil based on price alone, you're almost certainly not getting real extra virgin. 7. Mazola. Number 7. Mazola. You probably know Mazola for their corn oil. That's their main product. The olive oil is a side business, and it shows. Mazola failed the UC Davis 2010 study and was named in the class action that followed. Their olive oil is a multi-origin blend from Spain, Tunisia, and Greece, with no harvest date on the bottle. Consumer reviews consistently mention inconsistent flavor between batches and a slight chemical odor when heated. When a company that specializes in corn oil is selling you extra virgin olive oil on the side, the expertise and quality control just isn't there. 6. Calavita. Number 6. Calavita. This is an interesting one because the results were actually mixed. When UC Davis tested Calavita in 2011, samples from San Francisco and Los Angeles failed, but samples from Sacramento passed. A separate 2013 test by the National Consumers League also gave Calavita a pass. The Italian Antitrust Authority investigated and cleared them. So why are they on this list? 2 reasons. First, they were still named in the 2010 class action lawsuit. And second, Calavita is the company that manufactures Rachael Ray's olive oil at their plant in Pomezia, Italy. So if you have concerns about the Rachael Ray brand, those concerns extend to Calavita's own quality control. The inconsistency across different cities in the UC Davis testing also suggests that what you get depends on where and when you buy it, which is not exactly confidence-inspiring. 5. Star. Number 5. Star. Owned by Borges International Group out of Spain. Star was one of the 5 top-selling imported brands that failed the UC Davis 2011 study, and they were named in the 2010 class action. Consumer Reports describe Star's oil as mild and fairly benign, which sounds neutral until you realize that real extra virgin olive oil should have fruitiness, bitterness, and a peppery burn in the back of your throat. If it tastes like nothing, it probably isn't what it claims to be. Star doesn't print harvest dates on their bottles either, which makes it impossible for consumers to verify freshness. No individual lawsuits or major scandals, but consistently appearing in every quality test failure alongside the other big imported brands is a pattern you can't ignore. 4. Carapelli. Now we're getting into the top 4, and these are the ones with the most damning evidence. Number 4. Carapelli. This brand is owned by Dioleo, the same Spanish multinational that owns Bertolli, and they share the same problems. Carapelli was covered by the same $7 million class action settlement as Bertolli. They were part of the same FDA recalls in November 2015 for premature oxidation and March 2016 for pesticide contamination, and they received the same €300,000 fine from the Italian Antitrust Authority for labeling oil as extra virgin when it only met virgin grade. But Carapelli has its own special scandal. In 2004, the German wine and olive oil magazine Merum conducted an investigation where 3 trained taste panels in Florence rated Carapelli's oil as Lampante. That's the lowest grade of olive oil, legally unfit for human consumption without further processing. When Carapelli sued the German journalist who reported this, they lost. And when the Florence Chamber of Commerce tried to pursue a countersuit, they received a phone call from a high official in the Italian Ministry of Agriculture, telling them to drop it. That's the kind of thing you can't make up. 3. Pompeian. Number 3. Pompeian. This is America's best-selling olive oil brand, which makes this even worse. When UC Davis tested Pompeian, it had the single highest failure rate of any brand in the entire study. 94%. That means out of every batch they tested, almost none of it qualified as real extra virgin olive oil. 94% failure for the #1 selling brand in the country. Pompeian was named in multiple lawsuits, including the 2010 Callahan and Bain class action and a separate Florida case that alleged Pompeian sent real extra virgin olive oil to countries with more discerning palates and shipped the inferior product to the United States. The brand is now owned by the Daviso family of Morocco and has a partnership with DeCoop, the world's largest olive oil cooperative. Pompeian claims to have been the first brand to carry the USDA quality monitored seal and says they've never failed NAOOA requirements. The 2024 NAOOA study found no adulteration, but a 94% quality failure rate from the most rigorous independent study ever conducted on U.S. olive oil is not something you just wave away. 2. Filippo Berio. Number 2. Filippo Berio. This brand has a fraud problem that literally goes back over 100 years. In 1911, Pearson's magazine in New York reported that counterfeiters were selling cottonseed oil under the Filippo Berio label. 1911. The brand hasn't exactly cleaned up its act since then. Filippo Berio failed the UC Davis 2010 and 2011 studies as part of the 73% failure rate among the top 5 imported brands. The front label said imported from Italy, while the back label quietly disclosed that the olives actually came from Greece, Tunisia, and Spain. This led to the Kumar versus Salov class action filed in Northern District of California. The settlement was approved in July 2017, but class members only received 50 cents per bottle. 50 cents. As part of the settlement, Salov agreed to stop putting imported from Italy on the label unless the olives were actually 100% Italian. The lawsuit was part of $12 million recovered across 3 separate olive oil class actions. And here's a detail most people don't know. Since 2014, Filippo Berio has been majority owned by Bright Food, a Chinese state-owned enterprise. So the Italian heritage branding doesn't really reflect who's running the show anymore. 1. Bertolli, and the #1 olive oil brand you should stay away from. Bertolli, owned by D'Aleo, the world's largest olive oil company, and hands down the brand with the most documented problems. Bertolli failed the UC Davis 2010 and 2011 studies. They were then hit with a class action lawsuit, Kohler versus D'Aleo, filed in May 2014 in Northern District of California. The plaintiff alleged that imported from Italy labeling was misleading because the olives actually came from Greece, Tunisia, Spain, and Australia. That case settled for $7 million in April 2018. As part of the settlement, D'Aleo agreed to remove imported from Italy from labels, unless the oil was solely from Italian olives, switch to dark green bottles, and conduct stricter quality testing. But the lawsuits weren't even the worst of it. In November 2015, the FDA issued a voluntary recall for Bertolli olive oil due to premature oxidation and spoilage. Then in March 2016, another recall hit. This time, 8.5-ounce bottles in 20 states were pulled for containing trace amounts of trifloxystrobin and tebuconazole, 2 pesticides that are prohibited at any level in olive oil in the United States. In 2016, the Italian Antitrust Authority fined D'Aleo €300,000 because Bertolli Gentile was labeled extra virgin when it only met virgin grade. Products were withdrawn in May 2016, and when bloggers and websites like Mamavashian reported on the UC Davis findings, Bertolli's parent company, D'Aleo, threatened to sue them, demanding they remove their articles within 24 hours. The brand has also been linked to the Riolio scandal in Italy, where authorities discovered seed and hazelnut oil entering a refinery and being sold to producers, including Bertolli, generating around $12 million in fraudulent EU subsidies. When a brand is fighting lawsuits, issuing pesticide recalls, getting fined by Italian regulators, threatening journalists, and linked to organized fraud, it's hard to imagine a stronger case for staying away. All right, so that's the bad news. 13 brands with failed lab tests, class action lawsuits, FDA recalls, and regulatory fines. But here's the good news. There are brands doing it right. Brands that pass every independent test, carry real certifications, and actually care about what goes in the bottle. Here are the 4 you can trust. 4. Cordo. Starting at number 4, Cordo. Founded by the Cordo Passi family, 7th-generation Italian farmers from Lucca, who now grow olives in California's Central Valley. Cordo is COOC certified, which is the strictest olive oil certification in the United States, requiring acidity below 0.5%, well under the international standard of 0.8%. What makes Cordo stand out is their total vertical integration. They grow, harvest, mill, and bottle everything on their own ranches. The olives are cold extracted on the same day they're picked, and their packaging is innovative. The Flavor Lock box is an oxygen-free, light-free bag-and-box system that keeps the oil fresher for longer than any glass bottle can. Their Truly blend was ranked the #1 U.S. olive oil in 2024 on the EVOO World Ranking. Cordo's master miller put it best. The criteria for an oil to be extra virgin are pretty low. It's like getting a D in school. You passed, but you didn't do anything particularly well. At around $24.50 for 500 milliliters, it's a premium price for premium oil. Available at Walmart and Amazon. 3. Katz Farm. Number 3, Katz Farm. This is the ultra-premium pick for people who want the absolute best olive oil money can buy. Family run by Albert and Kim Katz since the early 1990s, estate grown on Rock Hill Ranch in Suisun Valley, California, right on the eastern border of Napa wine country. The numbers speak for themselves. Free acidity of 0.02%, which is extraordinarily low. For context, the international standard allows up to 0.8%, and even the strict COOC allows 0.5%. Katz is at 0.02. Polyphenols at 441 milligrams per kilogram, which is very high. That means serious anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits. Olives are pressed within 4 hours of harvest. Katz holds COOC certification, CCOF certified organic, and USDA organic certification. They've won 48 gold medals over 22 years, including 4 golds at the LA County Fair against 500 entries from 18 countries. Chez Panisse, arguably the most influential restaurant in American culinary history, featured Katz as the first California olive oil in their kitchen. At about $30 for 500 milliliters, it's an investment, but you're getting what is genuinely among the finest olive oils produced anywhere in the world. 2. Cobram Estate. Number 2, Cobram Estate. Founded in 1999 in Australia, and now also growing olives in California's Sacramento Valley. Cobram holds both COOC and OOCC certifications, maintains acidity below 0.5%, and passed the UC Davis studies with a 0% failure rate across both sensory panels. What gives Cobram a unique advantage is their 2-hemisphere growing operation. Because they have farms in both Australia and California, they have access to freshly harvested olives year-round, not just once a year. Their olives are pressed within 4 to 6 hours of harvest and stored in nitrogen-capped tanks to prevent any oxidation. Every batch is lab-tested before bottling. They've won over 300 international awards, including NYIOOC Gold Awards, and they've been named the healthiest olive oil in the world. All their bottles are dark glass, with harvest dates clearly printed. In late 2025, Cobram acquired California Olive Ranch for $173.5 million, making them the largest olive oil producer in the United States. At around $13 to $20 for 750 milliliters, Cobram is arguably the best value on this list, available in over 2,000 stores. 1. California Olive Ranch, 100% California line, and the #1 olive oil brand you should actually be buying. California Olive Ranch, specifically their 100% California line. This brand passed the UC Davis study with a perfect 0% failure rate. They carry the Olive Oil Commission of California seal, applied sensory certification, and non-GMO project verification. They voluntarily participated in the 2024 NAOA testing, and no adulteration was found. California Olive Ranch stores their oil in stainless steel tanks, bottles in dark protective glass. All right, so that's the bad news. 13 brands with failed lab tests, class action lawsuits, FDA recalls, and regulatory fines. But here's the good news. There are brands doing it right. Brands that pass every independent test, carry real certifications, and actually care about what goes in the bottle. Here are the 4 you can trust. 4. Cordo. Starting at number 4, Cordo. Founded by the Cordo Passi family, 7th-generation Italian farmers from Lucca, who now grow olives in California's Central Valley. Cordo is COOC certified, which is the strictest olive oil certification in the United States, requiring acidity below 0.5%, well under the international standard of 0.8%. What makes Cordo stand out is their total vertical integration. They grow, harvest, mill, and bottle everything on their own ranches. The olives are cold extracted on the same day they're picked, and their packaging is innovative. The Flavor Lock box. Before I let you go, here are 5 things to check every time you buy olive oil. First, look for a harvest date. Not a best buy date, a harvest date. This is the single most important thing on the label. Real extra virgin olive oil should be consumed within 12 to 18 months of harvest. If there's no harvest date, that's a red flag. Second, check the packaging. Dark glass bottles or tins are what you want. Clear glass or plastic lets light in, which breaks down the oil faster. If it's in a clear plastic bottle, walk away. Third, look for certifications. The COOC seal is the strictest. It's California only and requires acidity below 0.5%. The NAOOA seal means the brand submits to off-the-shelf testing at IOC standards. Either of those is a good sign. Fourth, check the price. Genuine extra virgin olive oil cannot be produced and shipped for $5 a bottle. If the price seems too good to be true, it is. A general rule, anything under about $8 for 500 milliliters should make you suspicious. And fifth, forget the fridge test. You may have heard that real olive oil solidifies in the fridge. UC Davis tested this and found that none of 7 samples fully solidified, even after 180 hours. Worse, adulterated oil mixed 50-50 with lower-grade oil actually did congeal, meaning fake oil can pass the test. The North American Olive Oil Association called the fridge test completely false and misleading. Don't rely on it. Instead, use your senses. Real extra virgin olive oil should smell like cut grass, green apple, or fresh herbs. If it smells like crayons, wet cardboard, or putty, it's rancid. When you taste it, you should get fruitiness, a slight bitterness, and a peppery burn in the back of your throat. That burn comes from a compound called oleocanthal, and it's actually a sign of freshness and high polyphenol content. If the oil tastes flat, bland, or waxy, it's not real extra virgin, regardless of what the label says. There you have it. 13 olive oil brands with failed lab tests, lawsuits, FDA recalls, and missing certifications, plus 4 brands that actually deliver real extra virgin olive oil backed by independent testing and proper certification. Go check your kitchen cabinet right now. If any of these 13 brands are sitting in there, you know what to do. If this changed the way you think about olive oil, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to see it. Drop a comment telling me which brand was in your cabinet, and if you want to see us investigate another food product, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. Stay informed. I'll see you in the next